Am I good with this one? Yeah? On Christmas Day at 2 o'clock in the morning in 2005, at 62 degrees south latitude, just off the Antarctic ice shelf, I was standing on the top of a pitching, rusty old converted fishing trawler. And my entire view, my entire horizon, I could only see one thing: the massive black hull of the world's only operating factory whaling processing ship, the Nishin Maru. And it was coming straight at me. I was wearing a survival suit with holes in it that hadn't been washed in years, and if I would have fallen into the water, it wouldn't have done me any good at all. And in my hand, I had a smoke bomb. Who knows how old it was? But if I had been Sandy Koufax, I wouldn't have been able to put that smoke bomb over that bow rail. It wasn't gonna do me any good either. And we weren't moving, and that ship was not stopping, and it was 30 times our size, and it was at that moment that I realized I was about to die. And they say when you're about to die, your life flashes before your eyes. I don't know about that, but I do know that in that moment, there were a few things that came to me clear as crystal. There was a memory of my parents who I hadn't seen in a long time, friends that I had left behind. There was a woman that I never had the chance to tell her that I loved her. And there was a question that came to me that I had forgotten about, a question: Casson, are you willing to die for the ocean? Now, I should give everybody some context. I work for Greenpeace. We are the world's largest campaigning environmental activist organization. We're a pacifistic group that believes in going out, highlighting the problems facing this planet, and thwarting them, working externally to save this planet that holds us all together. I've been an activist my whole life, and I think it started when I was very little. I grew up in a little town in Washington State on the beach, and I used to go in the summertime. Summertime's the only time you can go to the beach in Washington. I used to go down and take my little plastic shovel and dig for clams, and then bring them back home and give them to my mother, and she would cook them up, and it was the coolest thing in the world. I was 6. It was a big deal. Unfortunately, as I got older, that beach started to die from industrial development and logging and runoff and increased traffic in Puget Sound. It's to the point where I would never eat anything from that beach now. It's toxic. It's dead. And it really made me angry. It made me angry that in our quest for ultimate progress and continual development as human beings, we are so callous sometimes as to let one small beach that meant so much to one small boy fall by the wayside. So we fast forward until I'm about 25. I just gotten out of grad school, and I'm still full of anger at what's happening to our world. We look at our ocean and we see 90% of the predatory fish gone, 70% of the world's fisheries at or over capacity. Things are bad. The amount of plastic that we dump into the ocean every year, the North Pacific and South Pacific gyres, oh man, we're in trouble. But what was I gonna do? I was just one guy in Monterey, just gotten out of grad school. I didn't have a boat. I can't get out there. So I found this organization, this amazing organization, that went down to Antarctica to save whales. And I thought that was incredible. I wanted to be taken out of where I was, and I wanted to be on that boat, and I wanted to get in front of a harpoon, and I wanted to save a whale, and I wanted to do it right away. So I called them up, and we had an interview. And the interview was pretty simple. You know, you ever been on a boat? Can you do anything? If you get seasick, simple stuff, until the last question. Well, Casson, sounds like you'd be a good fit, but tell me, are you willing to die for the ocean? Now, at the time, you know, I'm full of energy and vim, and I just want to get out there. Yeah, of course, yeah, let's do it. No problem, get me on there, anything. But at that moment, when I was staring up at the Nishin coming at us, and it looked like the devil was about to call my bluff, something inside me broke. And all of a sudden, this little voice came out of nowhere and said, whoa, wait a minute. You were serious about that question? Because no, I'm not ready. I do not want to die for the ocean. Get me out of here. I was terrified and helpless. Now, luckily, you know, as evidenced by the fact that I'm standing here right now, I did not die. The Nishan turned at the last minute, and we won our little game of nautical chicken and went on to fight another day. And yeah, got lucky. But something did die that day, something inside me, a part of my self-image, this idea that I had told myself for so long that that the ocean, saving the ocean was all that mattered, and that I would do whatever it took, that I was an activist, and that my activity would be to be active. And this stuck with me, this question, Casson, are you willing to die for the ocean? I mean, I got off the ship after that, and I wandered around aimlessly for about 6 months. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a place to live. I couldn't really make any friends. I couldn't meet a woman. I had this dark cloud hanging over my head, and it was terrible. And it all came from inside, a reflection of my own self-doubt. The fact that I was having an existential crisis about who I was and what I was here for. I thought that I was supposed to be an activist, and I thought I was supposed to go out there and do things, and I screwed up. I finally got back home to the West Coast, and I was having a particularly bad day. I mean, you know, the ocean devastation that we're wreaking on our planet every day wasn't stopping just because I wasn't on that boat. We were still overfishing, we were still trawling, we were still doing all these things, and it was weighing on me, only now it was worse because I felt like I couldn't do anything about it. So I did what I think a lot of people probably do in the situation when you find yourself depressed, is I went to go eat something. I like to eat when I'm depressed. I know it's not a good thing, but I do. My favorite food since I've been very young is sushi. So on this day when I was really worried about the ocean and couldn't do anything about it, I decided to console myself by going out to a sushi restaurant. Yeah, let me say that again. I was worried about the oceans dying, so I went to have sushi. The paradox didn't hit me until I was about 2 bites of the way through my little piece of albacore nigiri, and it just about fell out of my mouth. I had 2 thoughts in rapid succession. The first one was, oh my God, I'm a hypocrite. Because the sushi industry is bad news. You look around the world, look at the demise of the bluefin tuna down to 10% or less of all populations. Why? Sushi. Or how about the North American and European eels being poached from rivers and flown to China? 90% stock declines in the last 30 years, fattened with antibiotics, sent back here for us to eat as sushi. And there I was. And I was loving every bite and crying for the ocean at the same time. But then I had a second thought, which was, well, maybe it's not that sushi's the bad thing. Maybe it's just the way we're using it. I mean, sushi didn't arise as this kind of thoughtless, high-level, mechanized industry like it is now. It arose in 19th century Japan as a way to honor what was available during the season and in that particular place in that time. It was a way to really give reverence to what was available and to save and preserve for leaner times. So I wondered, maybe we can use sushi to save the ocean. Now, a lot of people told me I was crazy because it doesn't make a lot of sense at first. But luckily, I found some support. I met these 2 sushi chefs that had a feeling that maybe I was onto something. We got together and we opened the world's first sustainable sushi restaurant, Tsukiji Sushi Bar, just up the hill in February 2008. We almost failed. Our first few months, we were in bad shape. But little by little, things caught on. And suddenly there was another sustainable sushi bar up in Portland, and then another one in Seattle, and one in Connecticut, one in Boise, Idaho, one in Chico, one in Capitola, just like that. And I thought about this for a while, and it brings me back to the question about whether or not I was willing to die for the ocean and the doubts that I had about what it meant to be an activist. And how when I tried to be an activist and I tried to step out of myself and go far away and give up what I loved, I failed. But when I took what I was passionate about already and used it like a lens and put the cause that I believed in through it, things started to work. Not only did they start to work, but I didn't get tired. I didn't get sick. I didn't have a crisis of self because I was doing what I loved. I was eating sushi. I was making sushi. I was talking about sushi. But it was stuffed to the gills with love for the planet. I don't think I ever want to do anything else because I've been given a chance to do what I love in a way to support the cause that I believe is dear to me. And there's nothing quite like it. And so it makes me challenge the idea of activism and what that means. Because the thoughts that we have to go and do something, to leave yourself behind, to go be active and change the world, well, maybe it's not about that. Maybe if we look at what the world really is, it seems that it's pretty much a reflection of who and what we are. You think about it, what's changed the world more than dinner, than our pursuit of food? How many forests have we chopped down to make ranch land? How many plains and fields have we sown with crops to grow food? Where did that 90% of those predatory fish go? We ate them because we were hungry. Human beings are looking for food all the time, and we've allowed it to get to a point where we've done great damage, but I don't think it has to be that way. Rather than lamenting what's going on in the ocean and saying we need to go out and fix it, maybe we look at what the world has become a reflection of and concentrate on that. I'm starting to believe that we're never really going to make ourselves and our world beautiful if we keep just putting makeup on our mirror. Because I think that the world really is just a mirror of who and what we are. Now for me, being asked, Casson, would you die for the ocean? It tortured me for a long time. And then through the sustainable sushi movement, I found that it wasn't bothering me anymore. That question and the self-flagellation that I was inflicting because of it went away the same time that the sushi movement started to grow with sustainability inside it. Because I think the question was flawed all along. Maybe it's not about going out and doing something and dying for the ocean. Maybe it's about finding out who you are and learning how to live for it. Thank you all very much.